Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome. You are listening to a really special series that I'm really, really excited to bring to life. My Frequency Recalibration mini-series. So over the past few months, I've been pioneering this new way of healing, what I'm calling energy frequency medicine, which I talked about in a previous episode, where we look at the protocol and into the frequency behind your symptoms, your nervous system patterns, your emotions, your evolution. And so in these sessions, I use the Healy device to map the energetic frequency, the energetic field, the space where stress and trauma and identity imprint long before they ever come physical symptoms. And we calibrate the frequency to match who you are becoming. And so in this series, I'm bringing on women who have experienced this work firsthand to share what shifted inside their bodies, how their nervous system responded, and what unfolded for them during their 2-week integration after their session. I want this to illustrate to you that healing is not just something we do or work on or we think about. This is something we feel, something we live, something we embody. And I want this series to show that. Today, I'm joined by Alex Long, and she is an entrepreneur, a multidimensional healer, and she came into her session feeling this little disconnected from her practices, wary of receiving and just carrying the pressure to hold it all alone. And in this conversation, she's going to share how frequency work helped her reconnect to her heart, often her perfectionism, which is a pattern that shows its ugly head often, and just to choose sovereignty, less reacting and more being. You'll hear about the moment that she realized that silence can be a powerful response, how discernment protects her energy, and why receiving love from herself and from others was the key to realignment. So if you've been living from your head while your heart feels maybe a little empty, then this one is really going to land. I love talking with Alex. I mean, we could talk for hours, and you'll get to hear her episode. She has another episode with me coming out later this year, but this one is really going to land. So let's get into it. Hey, y'all. I'm here with Alex, and I'm so excited for this. Alex, thanks so much for being a beta tester and having fun and just being open to all of this. I'm really excited for you to share with everybody your experience and kind of what's unfolded for you over the past few weeks. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Hope. It's great to be here.
I know. I'm excited. And as I said in the intro, Alex has been on the show before, and you won't hear her episode until probably later this month because it hasn't come out yet by the time this goes out. But look out for that because that is coming. But we are so align on so many things. We're so similar in our human design, we're so similar in our view of life and energy and all the things. So I knew she would be the perfect person for this. So I want to start there for you. Now, obviously, like I said, we're aligned. So we're interested in a lot of the same things and all the energy work and all that. But for you, did you have anything that you were wanting to work through? Anything you were hoping would happen? Did you what made you curious enough to be like, yeah, let me do this session. Let me try it out.
That's such a good question. I think for me personally, and honestly, Hope, I'm sitting here trying to think back to what we even talked about in that episode that we recorded that hasn't even come out yet by the time my life has changed and I have evolved so much since we last recorded together. And when you reached out about this, it felt like the universe was answering a prayer. It felt like I was experiencing a moment in my own healing journey where I felt really lost. I felt really disconnected from myself and from the practices that you and I preach about, right? From my own spirituality, from my own energy. It was like I didn't know who I was anymore, which is so funny because I talk about this concept of overcoming our identity, like this ego death that we all experience, especially in healing. And just, I've wanted to move back into not just helping others with, the natural and holistic approach to healing, but the energy work and really understanding human design and bringing that back into my life. I felt like I was giving a lot of it away to my clients and to even other people, like just in my community, but I wasn't taking enough time to really let myself receive. And ironically enough, that was something that came up during our analysis. That was something that was very clear as soon as you did my reading. And I'm like, yeah, this unwillingness or fear around receiving love has been preventing me from really having wholehearted and authentic relationships. And so honestly, Hope, it was just something that I didn't even look it up beforehand. I didn't even ask you any questions. I'm just like, I trust this. I trust Hope. I know that this works. Chakras, again, spirituality, human, it's all part of who I perceive as my best self, my highest self. It's all very real. And it's just something that I fell out of for a while. So, talk about trusting your intuition. I saw your text, I saw your email. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I am meant to do this. And going into really, that was my intention, to reconnect with that part of me, to realign my chakras, myself with things that make me feel like me again, and not just the old me, but this new and improved version of me that I've been working towards all year. And yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And I'm listening to you talk, and you were saying like, oh, it felt like an answer to a prayer. And it's so funny, everything you just said, because I feel like the other two gals that I asked to, be little beta testers with me, it's such similar places. Like there's these massive, and I think collectively, like we're in just a big time of transition. I have an episode coming out in January where I had the girls from Day Luna come and talk about the 2027 shift. So that was really interesting. But so I think collectively we're in a time of transition. But the other gals who came on were in a similar place. And Carly, we talked about it on hers too, is in a similar place where she just felt disconnected from herself and her. So it's so resonant what you're saying. And I feel like so many people are in that place right now, just in life. And I think that this work and work like this work, right? This is what is required for those of us who know that we're meant for more, for those of us who know that we have a big mission here, like we have a calling, a mission, right? I think that's the work that's required, like the awareness, and then like you were saying, being open to receive, like being open to the opportunities that present themselves for us to be able to, go deeper on that journey to really reconnect. So I love everything about what you said. And I feel like it's so many people listening are going to resonate, because the other gals were saying this, it's a lot of similar things.
Yeah. And what's so powerful about this, and I think that this is a collective human experience too, especially you think about this time of year as we go into the fall, the winter, it's like that time to recluse, that time to reflect. I've said for a long time that everything is energy. Everything we do, the way that we speak, the way that we move about the world, the way that we present ourselves, even the way that we write is energy. And I've been unintentionally surrounding myself with people who don't believe in this. Even if they say they do energetically, I can tell that they're not aligned. Even in conversations I've had recently around mental health, like this invisible illness that we walk around with. Again, like I forget if I told this story in your podcast, but think about everything I went through at the beginning of this year. Brain injury. People don't see that until they really start getting to know me. And then they're like, oh, wait, actually her memory is kind of shitty. But, but my point in bringing this up is it feels like this work is invisible, or it might feel like this work is invisible. When we are sitting down and connecting via Zoom and you are doing my aura analysis, I can't see what you're actually doing until you send me the analysis, the information, and explain it. But it's not something that's tangible, but it is something that works. You feel it physically, mentally, like even the positive effects of doing this kind of work and the positive effects of even having this conversation is going to be something that not only lives within me for the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend, it's something that I am now going to exude in my community. And that's how we shift collective consciousness. Yeah. And I think speaking about it is really powerful because there's a lesson in that, right? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real, doesn't mean it doesn't work, doesn't mean you can't feel a difference, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what makes it, yeah. So I think that's one of the things that makes it so powerful is, like you said, it's not this tangible thing. I think that like using the Healy device, like I think it brings a little bit of tangibility to the energy work. It's, giving you things you can look at and read and like,
doing additional scans, like, I play around with it on myself and doing additional scans, like, oh, here's where I've shifted. I love that it kind of brings this little piece of tangibility. But I do think that's one of the things that makes this type of like energy work, frequency work, like makes it so powerful, is because you can't see it, but you can feel it. Like we're going to get into that, but you can feel the shifts, right?
Yeah. Well, again, even going back to like receiving love, receiving this healing. I didn't have the device. I didn't even see the device on your camera. Right. So I'm just like, I'm just trusting you. I'm trusting it. And it's, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Was there anything in the session, and maybe it's something you figured out afterwards, but was there anything that surprised you that came up during the session, or maybe you experienced during or after the session?
I can't say that I was surprised, but during the session, as you were going through my chakras and reading and speaking about what was blocking my energy, all of what you said resonated so deeply with me. And it was like, this woman is in my mind. Like, these are all of the things that I've been working on in my own personal life. And truthfully, I think the most surprising thing was seeing how much I've already integrated into my everyday life, into my mindset and perspective shifts and conversations with people and the way that I live. And we were talking before we hit record, I went away on a retreat to Oregon, a vacation, my first vacation in 5 years as a business owner. I actually did a whole really, really in-depth, beautiful psychedelic experience. And I felt really guilty I felt like I didn't actually give the process like my whole heart, because I wasn't checking my email. I wasn't doing a very good job as your beta client, keeping in touch with you, but looking over everything that you sent me, even just briefly, and then acting on a lot of the things that we talked about during our call, even again, without thinking about it, and now reflecting on how far I've come over the last couple of weeks, reconnecting with you, having this conversation again, even just journaling, rereading like the notes that I took. That was the thing that surprised me the most. Like how much I've already done, how far I've already come, how all of this was planted in my subconscious, in my energy field, and I acted on it again without even thinking. And even that has helped me start letting go of the guilt, the perfectionism, the rigidity, which is something that came up in regards to like my root chakra, my throat chakra. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, totally. I love that answer, because I think something me and Carly talked about was how sometimes people think they have to have this huge, massive thing happen to shift things, right? And I think for you, what yours is kind of along the same lines, but you're saying like first of all, we gave words to it. Like a lot of the things I was saying, like you've been experiencing and feeling, maybe you hadn't been able to put words to it or explain it, or maybe you had, but it's like, this is putting words to how I've been feeling and what I've been experiencing. Just putting words to it and like bringing that to your conscious mind was enough. Like that was enough, because then it was like, well, then things just started shifting. Like it was in my awareness field. It was in my energy field. Now I have the awareness, and things just started. Like that's how, for me, what you just said really outlines how the energy, the frequency stuff works, right? It's bringing words to it, or bring it to the conscious, and then things start to shift. Like your energy starts to just line up. And I think that, to what Carly was saying, I think it's kind of the same thing, where it's like, you don't have to do, your homework every day and be super diligent about following this and that exactly right. And do, check the things off the box. It's like, just let it absorb into your energy. Like, let it just land. And sometimes that's all it takes. Like, yes, it's nice sometimes to, I'm going to, check the things off the list, or I'm going to, do my meditations or whatever. But sometimes it's like, it just needs to land, and you just need to live your life and let things land,
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, we'll get right back to the episode. But first, let me ask you this. You've built a vision that others admire, and you've built something that you're really proud of. But behind the scenes, your body feels like it's lagging behind. It just can't quite catch up to your brilliance and your mission that you have. That late night second wind, the foggy mornings, the hormone shifts, the endless push and forcing. You can't strategize your way out of that. And you already know you don't need more supplements. You don't need another supplement stack. You also don't need another side hustle disguised as self-care, because nobody wants to have their health as a side hustle. This is about recalibrating
supporting your entire ecosystem. And that's why I created the Quantum Reset, a premium 3-month high-touch healing experience for visionary women who are ready to feel as powerful in their bodies as they do in their business. Inside, we decode your nervous system, your minerals, your hormones. We read your labs like the sacred text that it is, so we have actual answers. And then we pair that with deep energetic recalibration, subconscious release. We use gene keys, we use human design, and true embodied healing. This isn't about fixing burnout, because that's not what we're doing here. This is about becoming the woman whose body is powerful, whose body is completely electric, whose energy, clarity, radiance finally matches the size of her mission. If you know your success isn't meant to cost you your vitality, and you're ready for a science-backed, spirit-led reset, then the Quantum Reset is your invitation. So check the link in the show notes or send me a message on Instagram, and let's bring your body back online with your brilliance. Now, let's get back to the show.
And it's gotten a lot easier to notice myself getting stuck in my head, getting stuck in my logic center and detaching from my heart, from my intuition. And lately I've been realizing my heart has felt very empty. My heart has felt very empty, and I haven't been making time to give myself the love that I know I deserve. And it's been so interesting to just, again, reconnect with my body in that way too, of like, okay, intuitively, now I know what it feels like when I'm getting too stuck in my logic, too stuck in my head. I'm checking off the boxes. I'm just going through the motions in life instead of really experiencing. I notice what it feels like when I'm in rooms or when I'm having a conversation with a person that really does not lift me up into my highest self. And it's such this weird juxtaposition, I guess, like to hold on to, or to be in a place in life when we first connected about this, where I'm fearing receiving love from others. And I'm realizing that I haven't been giving it to myself, realigning my life path and energy and interactions and daily practices, not only to let that in despite the fear, and also realizing that in doing that, I am also now finally showing myself the love that I've been missing, just by practicing that discernment and really, again, just tapping back into my body and my intuition.
Yeah. That's super powerful. I mean, I think I was about to ask you, like, what kind of powerful shifts? I think that's a really powerful shift and really amazing awareness. Do you feel like, over the past few weeks since you had your sessions, were there moments, like maybe you can think of specific moments, maybe it's just kind of a general feeling, but moments where you felt your body responding differently to stress, productivity, creativity, rest, work, people? Like, could you feel your energy? I don't know if reacting is the right word, but do you feel your energy responding? That's what I want to use, responding differently to anything.
That's a really good question. I'm doing it right now. Like even the practice of letting myself just speak from my heart, letting my intuition guide what I'm about to say. I notice myself get stuck in this, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I answering it? Like, that has been new, but the practice of actually like closing my eyes, putting my hands on my heart and just speaking freely has been a shift. And I've noticed myself really craving stillness, slowing down. I get anxious to the point of shutting off, and that doesn't feel good. At first, prior to our session, I liked that. I was like, oh, let me shut off my emotions. Let me shut off my intuition. Let me shut off this part of me that makes me me, so that I can do my work and achieve my goals. And again, getting stuck in that high achieving perfectionist, which is like, again, going against everything that I've always wanted to preach about and everything that I've been helping my clients with. And it felt so out of alignment. But now I think the biggest shift has been catching myself in those moments where I am acting out of alignment. And again, just choosing to embody all of this, like, I really think that I've practiced my ability to choose my own sovereignty, my ability to set boundaries, and my ability to, again, really embody the lifestyle that I've only ever tried to help others achieve, it felt like I was doing so at the expense of myself. And now I'm not doing that. And it's hard to describe the shift in energy and the responses. I've noticed myself responding less. And at first I was like, oh, what am I, like, is this again, getting in my head? Like, is this me? Is this what's going on? Like, again, am I losing myself again? I thought I came, but what it is I'm responding less to things that don't fulfill me. I'm not giving that my power anymore. I'm not giving those people my energy anymore. I'm not giving my power away. And I'm realizing, again, as somebody who speaks about empowerment, as somebody who empowers my clients, again, so many conversations I've had recently with the women I work with are like, yeah, I feel strong. Like I deserve to take up a space in the gym. Like I can do this, and I don't need to, get caught up in this diet culture. And I'm just like, yes, girl. And at the same time, I'm like, wait, where's that empowerment? Like, why am I losing that as I'm giving it to you? But now, through your help in realigning my energy and also helping me understand myself through human design even more so, I'm realizing that silence or a lack of response is a response, and it's just as valid and it's just as powerful. And that's the last thing I'll say too. I've noticed myself really using that in, I want to say to my advantage, but that sounds manipulative. It's more of like a, I don't need to speak. My energy does command a room. When I go into it with that intention, when I am aligned, when I am regulated, I don't need to talk. I don't need to use body language, energy, the feel that I exist in when I am acting in alignment with my highest self, when I am grounded in who I am and who I'm not and who I want to be. Like, I just feel good. I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. I don't even need to say it. I can just be and exist, and the room acts accordingly. Because how, even just in this conversation, in this articulation, this answer to your question, I notice a shift. Like, I notice it going up and down my body. I notice even just in my brain cognitively, it's so, it's been life-changing.
Do you feel like, I feel like you kind of answered some of this, but if this session helped you kind of meet, and I know I say this in every episode, I know not everybody resonates with the whole higher self thing, but for lack of a better term, we're just going to call it that. Do you feel like this session helped either give you a glimpse or give you a vision of this next level version of you? And if so, how would you describe her?
For me personally, I think this session brought me a lot of clarity and a lot of reassurance, and I left the session feeling very validated and very seen. And it was like it shined light on, again, things that I was already working on, things that I was already feeling but didn't know how to articulate, things that I was already trying to change but didn't quite know how. I think divine timing, again, is a very, very real thing. The fact that we got to have our session before I left for Oregon, before I went on this retreat, before I had this experience, it gave me intention, it gave me opportunity. And now coming back from all of that over the last couple of weeks, this version of me, this new version of me, this highest version of me, how would I describe her? It's funny you asked me that question, because there are some people in my life here in Denver that they have reflected that back at me. They're like, Alex, you're a really hard person to describe. Like, I don't know. And I found myself getting caught in that loop. I'm like, how would I describe me? What adjectives would I use? Dimensional has been one of my favorites, because it's like, I think that I'm just whoever I want to be, whenever I want to be it. I can't, I have so many layers. It's like, I feel like I'm indescribable. Some of us have landed on indescribable multidimensional entity in a human body. But she is happy. She is empowered. She is living her life to the fullest, and she is turning ordinary into extraordinary. She is a healer. She is just her most authentic self. And again, people ask me, like, well, what is that? Like, who are you? Right? Again, who are you? What does authenticity mean? It's just, I don't think I can describe my highest self, because my highest self is somebody who believes that we are always growing and evolving. And I am somebody who does believe that you have the power and freedom to choose how you want to live and be and exist. And again, something I've been practicing for myself after our session, I really remembered just standing a little bit taller, putting your shoulders back, like realigns you. It brings you confidence, even just from a neurology, right? Neuroscience perspective. It's like you can just decide.
Yeah.
That this is who you are now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I love that I love that you said you couldn't describe it. And I think sometimes we don't need words for that anyway, because all you need to do is feel it. You don't have to put it into words. Like, it's not as important to articulate it as it is to feel it. And that's what you have. You have the feeling. Like, I know how she stands. I know who she is. She knows who she is. Like, you feel it. You don't have to articulate it. And I think sometimes too, have a hard time like putting it into words or seeing it, because like you said, I think it's this, there's never like an end point, right? It's a constant evolution. So I don't know, maybe I don't want to put it into words. Like, maybe I just want it to be this, like you said, this feeling, and maybe I just want to let it keep evolving. Like, maybe I don't want to have to put it into words, because maybe putting it into words is limiting what's possible or who she could become, you know?
Exactly. And thank you for saying that it gets to be a feeling, because as somebody who has had their feelings and their own intuition like invalidated, right? As somebody who has been abused, as somebody who has had that taken away from her, I think we all can relate to that to some degree.
For sure.
If you don't feel that safety in your body and your nervous system, of course you're not going to trust what you feel if you've been told that your feelings are wrong or that your intuition is wrong, or that you know, but it is just a feeling. Maybe English just isn't the right language to describe it. You just know that's the inner knowing, and that gets to be enough.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that so much. I love everything about this. I love all of these revelations. I think this is such a powerful testament of being open to the process, the receiving part that we talked about, because there is a receiving required for you to integrate all of this and for all of these things to all the transformation to happen. So I love that. And I love the words you've been able to put to it. And I have some kind of rapid fire questions that I've been asking the gals. It doesn't have to be super rapid, because sometimes we get down one and we talk about it for a second, but I love doing this, just kind of tie all this up and just make it even more potent. So one word to describe your session. You could use more than one.
Well, I want to say healing, but I think that's pretty lame.
It's not, if that's what it is. I mean, whatever comes to your mind.
Resonant.
Ooh, that's good. I love that. What is one thing that your body let go of?
Pressure.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
We're still working on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but pressure to be perfect, pressure to hold all of it alone. That's been a big one. Again, so much of what I've been going through has felt like this is my own journey, and I can't. I'm the only person who can heal it. I'm the only person that can change. Your session helped me realize that I don't have to do that anymore. And I still get in my own way. Don't get me wrong. Like, that self-sabotage voice is still there. We all have it. And we still struggle. Like, again, like I said earlier, and again, I'm sure you can relate, like, even the experts, quote unquote, even the people who are helping others do what they once wished they could, like, we all get trapped in it, just like I did earlier this year. Like, just like I did, I mean, just like I still do sometimes every day. But every day that I come back to this work is another day that I feel this weight off of my shoulders. It gets a little bit lighter. The pressure in my head, the pressure in my life, right? Because our energetic field does change our reality around us. It gets lighter. It gets released, just little by little.
Yeah. So good. What is one thing that you're calling in?
I mean, this kind of feels lame to say too, but the first thing that came to my mind was love. Love for myself, more acts of love for myself. I've always said, I love myself. I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming. I don't blame myself. I don't guilt trip myself. And I know, like, this is really me speaking from my heart right now, from my core self. I know that all of this stuff that I've gotten stuck in and caught up in is a byproduct of like a lot of shit, society, like, you know, different parts of ourselves. And it's not really who I am at my core. And again, there's this voice that's like, oh, well, you're calling in love. You want a partner, anxious, avoidant attachment and all that. And like, yes, but also no. deserve to be treated like a queen, like the woman I know I am, this empowered, authentic woman that I can be and that I am becoming and that I am growing more and more into every day. Again, some days are harder than others. Like, again, I don't say that to speak as this, I deserve this, that. Some people can perceive it as very narcissistic or very entitled, but I am calling in energy and people who see me for this version of me that I know I am and treat me as such. I am allowed to have high standards in who and what I interact with. And that's that.
That's that. I'm in. Amen. One last question. What's one frequency you're choosing to embody next?
432 hertz. One frequency I am choosing to embody next. For those of you that don't know, that is a very healing frequency if you want to listen to it. Abundance. Abundance and worth and freedom. More of that.
Alex, thank you for being so open and honest and vulnerable, sharing your experience and the journey that you're on. I really, like I said at the beginning, and I mean, I think even more now that we dove deep into all the things, I think so many people are going to resonate with this because I feel like so many of us, especially those who are, more in tune with energy, those who are healers, that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of people who resonate with where you are and this kind of energy that you're stepping into. So thank you for being open to the process, for sharing your experience and sharing it so eloquently. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Again, thank you so much for having me. And it really was an honor. I would love to do another session with you sometime.
For sure. I love it.